Divine Liturgy's in parentheses there because it kind of complicates the nice 8-part structure that you get to divide in half. But Divine Liturgy is also part of the daily cycle of services. I know in the recent, past century, it's kind of, you have this liturgical revival and all this theology about liturgics and whatnot, and, people talked about liturgy being, the service beyond time, and it's not part of the cycle of services. But I think that that's actually been a negative kind of aspect of this, liturgical revival, being that the liturgy was actually has been now disconnected from the daily cycle of services, in which case many people serve liturgy without serving the other services that are part of the daily cycle. And so it's not historically accurate at all. Liturgy was always part of the daily cycle of services, and you can tell that because there's this book that is called the Typikon, which is the book that regulates the services. It's basically a big book. Oh, here I can show you. I have a nice copy here in. Oh, it's gonna take. All right, so I have this nice copy of a Slavonic Typikon from 1903, I think, actually. Let's see. It's not in the best condition. 1906. So this big book here is the rubrics. Basically, it begins and tells you all of how you're supposed to serve the services. It regulates when you serve them, how you serve them, and all that. And it actually has all of these cycles that we talked about. So it has the daily cycle, it has the weekly cycle, it has the Manaean calendar, the monthly cycle, or the yearly cycle, the non-movable cycle, and then also the Paschalia. So, as I said, liturgy really is part of the daily cycle of services because it's regulated by the Typikon. There are days when you serve, when it's prescribed to be served, and there's days when it's not prescribed to be served. Most of those days are, of course, in Great Lent. During the week, we don't serve Divine Liturgy. We only have the Presanctified Liturgy, which many people, or in Russian, oftentimes it's called Vespers with the Order of Communion, because you're actually not celebrating the liturgy. It's just Vespers with the service of receiving communion. But of course, in our tradition, it's called the Liturgy of the Presanctified Gifts, and so I don't think anyone has any issue with calling it a liturgy. But back to the point. Also, we just had it for those that are on the Julian calendar this year on Friday last week, the Friday before Theophany. We served royal hours because Theophany landed on a Monday this year. And so the services shift around. If Theophany or Nativity land on a Sunday or a Monday, you serve the royal hours on Friday. And it's not prescribed to have liturgy on Friday when you serve the royal hours. So it's just all this to just underline and illustrate the point that actually Divine Liturgy is part of the daily cycle of services. And we'll get into the kind of the modern practice of how they're served. Of course,